Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to What's the Damage, the classic WTD question mark here on my channel. You know it, you love it, you are going to have to endure it because it is the longest running series on my channel and I do not intend on stopping anytime soon. It is second to the Mixer with most amount of videos in a playlist, you know. I think the Mixer is coming up on 200 at this point. Maybe the What's the Damage has like less than 150, I don't know. Although technically Chazzy Plays is where I have the most amount of videos because I do gameplays and stuff, you know, but that's not the point. The thing is that this series has been going on strong since 2016, you know, and I do not intend on stopping anytime soon, you know, and today's video is going to be somewhat of a continuation, a sequel, let's say, to this one here where I did recently talking about the fall of Netflix, because in that video I did mention something that I denominate as the Great Streaming War that I would be talking about in another video, you know, and that video is today, you know. So the Great Streaming War is something that I myself made up, although it probably already exists and other people may have used it, you know, but it's the first that I've heard of it, you know, me myself using it, which is basically all of the different streaming platforms today in the world sort of going against each other and seeing who has the better library of content, you know. And it all began with Netflix, you know, like I said in that other video. I did give you guys a little bit of background behind the company and the streaming that it does, you know. And the thing is that the streaming platforms today are directly tied to the evolution of television that we have seen ever since, I don't know, man, way back in the 1920s and 30s with the creation of broadcast television, you know, which was essentially you having a television set in your home and using over-the-air radio waves from this little antenna on top of your TV, which would capture the signal and bring it in and make it work, you know, on your TV set, you know. Those radio waves weren't always up to scratch. They didn't really work too well. And then it would only be like in like the late 50s and 60s and early 70s where we would start to have color television, you know, which was already a huge advancement in that. So you could pretty much watch whatever the radio whatever the radio signals would capture and transmit to you, you know. Years later we would have this thing called satellite television, which, as the name suggests, right, it's over the air radio waves coming from a tower now, you know, sorry, the satellite now, you know. It's because there were also radio towers that gave off different signals as well. I think that's how it worked in the days of broadcast, you know, also known as terrestrial television, but that's not the point. You would need a satellite dish on top of your house, on the roof, on the outside, to capture the signal from the satellite and like beam it into your TV, you know. And this is something that actually worked really well for many years until we had the introduction. By the way, when it comes to satellite dishes and all of that, you actually do have different channels to watch, and you can sign up for different ones and you can subscribe. It's called pay-per-view, you know, so also known as PPV, which you can sign up for a monthly subscription and have a certain amount of channels that you can watch, you know. When cable television came around, it was the same thing, but now there was the convenience of having a little box of sorts in your TV on next to your in your living room, next to your TV, transmitting the signal directly to it. You would take a little cable and plug it into the box, into the TV, which would be plugged outside, I think in the energy post out there, to give you the signal that you needed, you know. Now, analog television was really standard back in the 20th century, but, you know, since like the 2000s onward, you know, the cable systems have upgraded to digital cable, so it's a lot easier now for us to watch TV, you know. And there's always the same thing when it comes to this, you know. You can also sign up for different kinds of channels, you know, like we're talking like cable internet access and telephone services, and also pay-per-view events that you can watch, like sports and other movies, you know. So and it's very it was protected, you know. It's very well encrypted. And I'm looking at some photos here now. I was gonna show you the photos, but they actually look really freaking cringy, and I don't even really not gonna care too much about that, you know. But the thing is that when it came to cable television, you basically had from the onslaught hundreds of channels for you to watch, but you would need to individually sign up for a certain package if you wanted to watch something else, you know. So for example, you wanted to watch UFC or MMA, you have to sign up for a package or an individual channel that was fighting, you know. You wanted to watch sports games, you have to sign up for ESPN, that entire package there, you know, Sports Center, you know, what have you. you wanted to watch certain movies on HBO, you have to sign up for the HBO package, you know. So basically what you would be doing is you would have your standard cable package, but you would have to sign up individually for different services, different packages, so you could watch different things that wouldn't be given to you freely, you know. And that is actually how this whole thing started, you know. Now, having to pay individually an additional fee for you to watch something that you wouldn't have on cable television, this was something that was turned on its head in 1997 when this company called Netflix came to town. But it would only be 10 years later in 2007 when they would emerge into the digital streaming market and have a website where you could now watch things online. Now, Netflix at this point had about 1,000 or so movies for you to watch online, you know, if you had a good internet connection, but they also had a catalog of 70,000 DVDs that you could rent out like a Blockbuster, you know. But their online website was really just revolutionary, you know. 1,000 movies at your disposal right there on your computer screen without even having to get up and go anywhere to get them. Try to imagine the utter convenience that was Netflix in the early days, man. We're talking like 07, 08, 09, you know, climbing into the 2010s, you know. Netflix was a monolith for online streaming, you know. And, you know, I did talk about this in that other video of mine that they did not kill off Blockbuster. Blockbuster, like, sunk itself into the ground, you know, because of other internal issues. But Netflix had come and it was here to stay, right? And now you could watch things from all different distributors. We're talking, you know, Sony, Universal, Pictures, you know, Warner Bros, HBO, any channel that you could imagine, Netflix was there, you know. Gone were the days of Comcast digital cable and TiVo, you know, none of that existed anymore, you know. People were already making the jump to Netflix, right? But the problem is that as the years went on and other companies started to see their properties making so much money on Netflix, they started to grow a little bit of a sour bone, you know. They were like, okay, well, I'm starting to feel like I could make a little bit of money on the side here as well, you know? So it was gradual, you know? It was very, very slow, but very, very steadily at the beginning, right? Very slowly, other companies started to make their own streaming platforms as well, you know? One of the earlier ones was Hulu, you know, which is still active today. Also Amazon Prime Video, which before was tied to your Amazon Prime account. So you had to pay the full price for an Amazon Prime account to have access to the video streaming service, you know? Today you can just sign up for it individually. So, but they never really represented a danger to Netflix. They were just trying to do their own thing parallelly, you know. It was when other bigger companies started to wanted a piece of the dough, you know. So then we started to have things like Disney Plus, which Disney bought everything that they could over the years, and I think it was because of this. I think that they were already trying to like mitigate this idea of a streaming platform years before it happened, because they were buying everything, man. They were buying Star Wars, which came with Indiana Jones as well. I think Lucasfilm owned that, although I'm pretty sure Indiana Jones was on Netflix some time ago. I don't remember. But so then they also bought Marvel, which gave them access to everything related to the MCU, you know. And then when they finally released Disney Plus, holy crap, you know, they had their entire library there of their own movies, animated ones, and newer modern day remakes, you know, live actions, and the entirety of the Marvel movies and Star Wars, you know, movies and TV shows. They really knew what they were doing, you know. And then there were others like HBO Max, you know, and then there are some other things like, for example, there's Paramount Plus now, which has been getting attention because of the new Halo series. So I mean, now everybody wants a piece of what Netflix had for many years, you know. So they began pulling their movies and TV shows from Netflix and distributing them in their own streaming platform, you know. And that's what I'm gonna be talking about now. Now, normally I give you guys, when I do these kinds of videos, I put a lot of research into it and I come up with like my own little cheat sheet. I actually write them down in my own words here on my tablet, you know, so I can kind of use it as a script, but I'm behind schedule and today I am lazy as hell. So today's list is brought to you by Screen Rant. They have a channel, you can go check it out later, you know. This is actually something that I'm pulling directly from their website, and they're going to be talking about the 10 major streaming services, the best ones that are ranked by price, you know. So rather than the first time that I did this video talking about every single one out there in the market, I'm just gonna do the ones that are more popular right now and what they cost, okay? And also the starting prices of each one, okay? So aside from Netflix, you know, Some of the more popular ones, there is one called Peacock, which technically is free. You know, you can use it completely free, which already gives you a large selection of movies and TV shows to watch, you know. However, there are two different plans, okay? So the first one is, the premium plan is $4.99, but this one has ads, you know, running along like a YouTube video where you can maybe skip them or so. And then there's $9.99 if you don't want to use it with ads at all. So not a single ad in sight, okay? And they actually have a few good hits. They have ties with NBC, so you can watch things like The Office, Parks and Recreation, you know, This Is Us, and Mr. Mayor. So there's a pretty good selection of content there as well, you know. And they are, because a large selection, a large chunk of their content is free to access, you can use Peacock parallel with another streaming service, and it would actually come out really well, you know. And then the next one is one that I'm personally very curious about, which is called Shudder, you know, and it costs only $4.75 a month, and it's basically just about horror stuff, you know. It's really good for horror fans because they have a lot of stuff involving, you know, horror itself and suspense and paranormality and stuff like that, you know. So if you like horror movies and TV shows, this is definitely going to be right up your alley, you know. And it's really nice. It's become a sleeper hit, you know. It was actually released a few years ago, but it's already become very popular, and they have original content, like for example the series Creepshow and also Cursed Films, you know, two very cool shows that are about, you know, horror elements and whatnot, you know, and also quite a few other, I imagine that they have a lot of clandestine, unknown indie horror movies, which would be really cool to watch as well, you know. I would probably like to get my hands on this, but I don't think it exists in Brazil. I don't think Shudder is available here in South America yet, but when it does, oh, I'm gonna get on that. Probably not, because it's gonna be expensive as hell, but And next, we have Paramount Plus, formerly known as CBS All Access, and oh boy, were they struggling before when they had that name, you know. There's a starting price of $4.99 right now, but there is a slightly more expensive commercial-free option, which is $9.99, and also, if you're a student, you get 25% off, you know, when you sign up for it. And the thing is that it really struggled, you know, in the beginning, because it had a very limited number of movies and TV shows, you know. For example, Star Trek, Discovery, they're very big on Star Trek, you know, and it really was the little streaming platform that could, you know. It really persisted, and in about the last year or so, it really grew, it expanded tenfold, you know, because now they have a lot of really cool shows, you know. They have, for example, RuPaul's Drag Race, you know, All Stars, and 1884, you know, and also Picard, which is related to the Star Trek character, you know. And like I said earlier, they are gaining a lot of traction now because of the new Halo series, you know, which, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Halo games, I would very gladly watch this series. I think it would be really nice, you know, although I have a lot of Star Wars stuff that I've been sitting on for a while, so I got to get Disney Plus first, you know. And right now they have about 35 million subscribers, you know, so it really did grow a lot, and I see a lot of ads targeted towards them, you know, on social media. So I think that they really are getting a lot. They really hit the ground running, you know, from time to time, from like a year or so ago to now. So the next one is Apple TV Plus, you know, and it has a starting price of $4.99 a month, and it's just, it's one of those that it's only here on this list because it's cheap and accessible, but I don't think there's really a lot of advantages there, you know. They originally launched with this thing called The Morning Show, which was kind of like, I actually have no idea, guys. This is the one that I know the least about on this list, to be honest with you, you know. I just know that if you don't have any Apple devices like iPhones or iMacs or MacBooks, then I don't even think you can sign up for it. I think you need an Apple product to be able to consume it, you know. But anyway, so the thing is that it took a long time for Apple TV Plus to find success until they released Ted Lasso, you know, which is a show that is apparently kind of like a sitcom kind of thing. I believe so. I might be saying something wrong. I don't know about Ted Lasso. I just know that it's like, it's probably the one thing now that gives this any amount of traction, because you can just catch up on the new episodes, you know. And of course, it's actually, they have this marketing strategy where they will give you a free subscription if you buy an Apple device, so like an iPhone or anything related to that, like an iPad, you know. So yeah, I guess maybe, just maybe, it compensates there, but it just doesn't really, I don't really see the appeal of it, honestly. So next we have this thing that's called Discovery Plus, okay, and the starting price for this one is $4.99 a month as well. As you can imagine, it takes a lot of content from the Discovery Channel, you know, and it actually has a lot of low budget and lifestyle reality TV shows, you know. So but I actually like reality TV, and so do the 22 million other subscribers who sign up for Discovery Plus, you know. And it's nice. Netflix has a few as well, but I guess Discovery is all over the place with the reality reality TV, you know? It's not even about keeping up with the Kardashians. It's you keeping up with everybody. You keep up with literally every single person on the planet, you know, through this network here. And they stream different networks from Discovery. So you have TLC, the Food Network, you've got HDTV, OWN, and a lot more, you know. So this one would actually might be pretty interesting. You know, I think it's actually nice, you know, and although there is this, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I heard some time ago that they were going to go defunct and sort of merge with HBO Max, you know, so they're going to be giving you their entire catalog in just one there, so that might be a thing for the foreseeable future, you know. So let's just wait and see what's gonna happen there. Me personally, it's not really gonna affect me too much because I don't know if I'm gonna sign up for any one of these, but let's just see where it goes, eh? Alrighty, so the next one on the list is one of the oldest streaming platforms here alongside Netflix, you know, Hulu, okay? And it's not as old as Netflix. It actually launched in 2007, which is when Netflix began the whole online streaming thing, you know? The starting price for Hulu is $6.99, okay? That's the base price. However, you can actually pay $12.99 to get additional, a complete ad-free tier and give you access to add-on premium channels like HBO Max and Showtime and Stars, you know, that kind of thing. And it also has live TV, you know, and Hulu is actually one of the biggest bangs for your buck here on this list because they have built up a very large and impressive library, you know, and it's actually very cheap considering what they offer, you know. We're talking about, you know, networks like NBC, ABC, Lifetime, VH1, so a lot of music related things. I think that they, with VH1, you can watch music videos and maybe even documentaries and movies about musicians, you know, so I think that's actually where the new Beatles thing is. No, I think that's Disney Plus. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Beatles one isn't that's completely unrelated. But you can watch the different hits across all these networks, you know, and it really does offer you different options if you want something a little more hybrid and mixed, you know. So that's how I interpret Hulu to be. I actually briefly used it when I was still living in the US, you know, but I think that the one thing that I watched on it was Family Guy. You know, I don't know if it's still a thing now. I'm pretty sure it is. I think Family Guy is on Hulu, or maybe it made the jump somewhere else. I don't know. But Family Guy was the very first show ever, the very first thing that I ever streamed in my life, and it was on Hulu, you know. I used it to watch some of the newer episodes. So it was really fun, you know, a very good bang for your buck there. So I like that. And then we have one of the more giant ones, which is Disney Plus. Okay, we all know and love this one here. You know, it has a starting price of $7.99 a month, and the thing with Disney Plus is that, like I said earlier, it offers you such a huge library of content that honestly, if I signed up for it today, I wouldn't even know where to start. You know, it just, there's way too much stuff to watch, you know, and it's kind of daunting, you know, because it's actually become one of the most subscribed platforms, you know, in recent years, and it raised its prices a little bit, and apparently next year they're going to be doing it again. But Disney Plus gives you a lot more bang for your buck than Netflix. Netflix is raising their prices haphazardly because they're already sinking, you know. But that's like adding more water to a sinking ship, what Netflix is doing. But Disney Plus offers you so much more, you know. And then I don't think it's going to impact their subscriber count because, I mean, even if you have to pay a little more, look at what you get with Disney Plus, man, you know. So, you know, different target audiences. So children, teenagers, you know, adolescents, young adults, regular adults, everybody can enjoy something in Disney Plus, you know. They have an amazing library, and they have this new acclaimed series called WandaVision that's tied to the MCU, you know. I think there's also a Black Widow spin-off movie or series, you know. There's a bunch of stuff related to Marvel, which is the one that's most, garnering attention right now around the world. They released this new original film recently called Turning Red, you know. So Disney Plus has a lot, man. And I would love to have Disney Plus. I just can't afford it right now. It's a little too pricey here in Brazil. But if you live in the US, $8 is really, it's a pretty good. There's probably more to it. There's probably more packages that are more expensive that offer you more, but that's pretty alright. Next, we have Amazon Prime Video, you know, which was, of course, is tied to the Amazon website that Jeff Bezos created, you know. So it actually came a long way. It's a unique concept, what Amazon was founded as and how this eventually led to a streaming platform. The starting price is $8.99 a month, you know. However, like I said, this is just for the actual platform platform itself of Prime Video, you know, because before you would have to pay the full $14.99 of a monthly fee to use the entire thing, the website, you know, for the regular Prime fee, and now you can have just the video subscription alone, which is really nice. And they have a few hits, you know, like their series The Boys, Jack Ryan, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, you know, and a few other things. And a lot of people don't know that it is its own subscription. I think a lot of people still have their Amazon accounts and they're paying more, not knowing that they could have just the streaming platform, but that's beside that. A few other things too that it has that I don't remember, but I think that Amazon Prime here in Brazil, at least, it's one of the cheapest, or actually I think it is the cheapest, you know, it's the one that most compensates here in terms of financial withal. And after that, we have HBO Max, which is one of the more expensive ones, and it has a starting price of $9.99 a month. Okay, so right up there with like the basic Netflix plan. Okay, and now that's just it, right? That's just the basic plan. You can actually pay $14.99 for the premium ad-free experience, you know, so no ads at all, and you having free access to everything, you know. But they do offer a lot more content than others around the same price, so that does explain why it's so pricey, you know. Because you have an entire library of classics like The Sopranos and Sex and the City, you know, those really old classic American shows and whatnot. And also they have new originals like The Flight Attendant and also Euphoria with Zendaya, which is actually gaining a lot of traction lately, you know. So you really do get a lot of bang for your buck. You can watch the entirety of Friends on it, you know. You can watch the Harry Potter movies if you're a Potterhead. So, I mean, it's all good. And here's the buzzsaw. I'm gonna have to talk loud now because of the buzzsaw. Okay, so anyway, and they are trying to fast track, oh yeah, Warner Bros. Also, so you can watch the Space Jam movies and anything else related to that. They have been trying to fast track the Warner Bros. Movies, you know, to come quickly, you know, like the Warner Bros. Movies release, and now they're trying to get them into the platform 45 days after that. So, you know, whether or not they succeed is indifferent to me. I'm not going to sign up for HBO Max right now, but maybe one day in the future, I don't know. And now last, and unfortunately also the least, right? We finally get to Netflix, okay? Tied with HBO Max with a starting price of $9.99, you know? And this is just the basic plan, which if you watch my video talking about the fall of this platform, you're going to know what that is. They have a premium plan that costs $19.99, which is where you get the 4K video quality and be able to share with multiple screens and stuff, you know, that kind of thing. So Netflix right now, I mean, they have been around for like, you know, like years at this point, over a decade. So they have built up a very large library as well, to their credit, you know. You think of Netflix today and immediately shows like Stranger Things and Cobra Kai and Peaky Blinders come to mind, you know. But they've actually had quite a few others as well. They had The Orange is the New Black. They still have, I'm pretty sure they do. There's Orange is the New Black, you know. There's Sense8, Emily in Paris, Vis a Vis. There's Money Heist, you know. And they recently rebooted Arrested Development as well. A lot of really good blockbuster movies and even some lesser known indie films, which is really cool as well. And classic TV series, and in my personal taste, you know, they have a lot of Asian content, so a lot of K-dramas and movies from South Korea and Japan and China, even from Taiwan. I watched a Taiwanese movie some time ago from Taiwan or Thailand, I don't remember now, one of those two. But they actually, Netflix, if you stop to think about it, they actually have a very impressive library of content, man. The problem is that a lot of people were complaining that the things that they want to watch most were taken away and were added to other platforms. So in their head, Netflix is like useless, and that's really unfair, you know. I think Netflix has a lot of content, but the price isn't worth it. That's the only problem, you know. If they had kept their prices the way they were, or even lowered them a bit to try to bring more people or make the ones who were still there wanting to stay subscribed, then maybe, just maybe, people wouldn't complain so much, you know. But they do always have new varied content. You know, I do actually like their original stuff, and sometimes it sucks, other times it's okay. Stop honking your horn. Oh, thanks. Okay, didn't know it worked that way. So that's it. And in the end, Netflix is just, man, oh boy. Right now, the starting price is pretty damn pricey, you know. Here in Brazil, it's freaking ridiculous, man. 55 bloody rice. But anyway, guys, that has been the 10 best streaming platforms right now, ranked by price and what you get for each one. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I actually don't know what else I can say. This video is getting a lot longer, considerably longer than the first time, so you know that it's been a good remake. I'm even wearing the same shirt that I was in that first one, so it's all good. I want to hear from you guys now. Let me know in the comments below which platforms that you sign up for, which ones you have, which ones you would if you could, the ones that you are curious about, and if you have Netflix, if you're going to be jumping ship or if you're going to stay on it, you know? Let me know, guys. Let me know what your favorite ones are, your favorite movies, TV shows. I want to talk to you guys in the comments, okay? I want to debate. Shout out to my #1 subscriber, Simon from Spain. I love you so much, dude. He's like my biggest fan now. He comments on every single video. So Simon or Simon, I don't know how to say your name, buddy. Just tell me in the comments what I know that you use Netflix. Let me know what you watch. Stop barking. No, stop. Stop. I gotta get going because this is gonna get ridiculous now. I gotta talk really loud so you guys can hear me because the dogs are barking. Okay, if you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like and also subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell too so you can know exactly what time I upload because it's videos every single day. I think I just said that, but whatever. Redundancy aside, this is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Quickly, roll the outro screen before the barking gets worse.